Hey, hey, everyone. Hey, Denny.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just
Excited to see you.
yeah, likewise. I'm happy to join y'all. I had my house is covered in boxes and stuff. We moved like 2 weeks ago, so it's been quite the undertaking.
Still a little unsettled. Yes,
Oh,
that's a
a
transition.
little, that's an exaggeration. Like we're nowhere close to settled.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you get started so we have the full time. It's already live streamed in EXP Family Tree. We've got people watching there. So hi to everyone. And I will just monitor and let people in because some people will, be joining us as we go here, which is just fine. So those of you that were here the last time Denny was here, were blessed by his knowledge and some things about just general kind of getting yourself out there on video and social media. And he started to talk about YouTube. And many of you were like, okay, we want more on YouTube. So we asked Denny to come back, and he's a busy guy and he's super gracious with his time and his knowledge. And he's going to share about his journey in his YouTube, which hasn't been that long, but it's been very successful thus far. And some of the tips and tricks and things to think about, he's willing to share that with us. So that's what our conversation is going to be about today. So thank you again, Denny, for being here. I'm going to let you take it away, and you guys can chat questions in the chat box. I'll help watch it. And of course, you can unmute yourself and ask questions too. We want this to be interactional.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Carrie. I went and flicked on a kitchen light so maybe I could see my face and grab myself my coffee. For those of you who weren't here, I'll keep the background really brief because I think the results speak for themselves. So as Carrie mentioned, my YouTube journey hasn't been that long, but marketing and social media and video, that has been, a labor of love for going on like 10 or 15 years now. So I was an early adopter of Facebook and even MySpace and social media in general. This goes all the way back to like my middle 20s. I was in the direct sales industry. And so I used social media to connect with people, to recruit and build my team. I became a really big fan of this guy, Mike Dillard, that many of you may or may not have heard of. He's a marketing guy in the not direct sales in terms of network marketing, but just direct to consumer marketing in general. And he's had a phenomenal career, and I've followed him for a long time. And so when I got into real estate, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to call FSBOs and expireds. I don't want to door knock. I don't want to harass my friends and family. Like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. And so what I started doing is I just started doing what I was doing in direct sales, but doing it to get to build relationships for real estate clients. And one of the biggest things that I could see as an outsider looking in before I became a realtor was that when people became a realtor, they lost a sense of themselves. Like all of a sudden they went from the likable guy or gal next door with a family that played soccer and was into fitness and volunteered at church and went to music concerts and did all this super fun stuff, to a three-piece suit, and every single post was like an open house or a listing or a closing or some stupid real estate meme. It was all real estate, real estate, real estate. And they kind of lost themselves in that. And so what I did is I leveraged social media to build a brand. And I used to be the guy who would beat the drum about, if people they do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And what better way to do that than social media, where you can reach, tens of thousands and millions of people that you otherwise wouldn't have known. And I taught people to build a brand around their passions, their interests, their skills, their hobbies, themselves, and what made them uniquely great and different. And kind of sprinkle in the real estate stuff. And it worked. It worked really well for me. I coached clients, and it worked really well for those other realtors that I helped do those things. And while it was working really well over time, you know how you just like don't know that you're looking for something until it, smacks you right upside the head. Well, that was me during the pandemic. Excuse me. I got on Clubhouse. And I met a guy who was always talking about YouTube. Now, what I didn't know about him was that he had just got his license, he had just started his channel, and that he had never done a transaction. 6 months later, we threw an event, and I got to meet him in person for the first time. And he stood up and he told his story about how he had just got his license, just started his channel in December. By March, He got his first client. By September, he had done $20 million. And by the end of the year, he did $33.5 million. The beginning of the next year, in the first 2 months of the year, he did as much as he had done the previous year. So he did over $30 million in the first 2 months. And I talked to him the other day. Excuse me. Geez. If y'all don't know, Georgia has a lot of pollen and allergies, and postnasal drip is a real thing. I always joke in my YouTube videos that if you move to Georgia, if you don't have allergy problems, you will. So prepare for that. But I just talked to him last week or a few days ago, and he's done 150 transactions this year, over $70 million. And he's on track to do 150 million in his second year as an agent, second year on YouTube. And so that got my attention. And this was obviously right when I met him in person. He had just finished doing 20 million. So I pulled him aside and said, hey, listen, name your price. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I want to know exactly what you're doing on YouTube, because a couple of things that he had talked about that I have now learned to be true. And if we had time, which we don't, because I'm going to give you guys a drink from the fire hydrant, but if I took the time to let you all, explain or answer in the comments, like how many of you, are on social media, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram. And if you'll think about it for a second, here's the experience you're having. Everyone on social media is scrolling through their phone or their computer, like, right? If they're on Instagram, they're either, looking for their grandkids picture of that, or maybe they're looking to connect with some old friends, or maybe they're looking at girls' boobs, or maybe they're looking for, a lawnmower to buy. Like, the point is they're not on there to buy a house. Like, they're on there to do whatever it is that they're there to do. And there's a bazillion different people doing a bazillion different things. And so in social media, what you're trying to do is it's called interruption marketing. You're trying to stop them from scrolling, get their attention. Now, there may or may not be in the market to buy or sell a home at that moment in time. 97% of them are not. And so a couple of people are in the market at the moment. Most of them aren't. So you're trying to get their attention and build a relationship with them through your content over some period of months or years. You even know, like, you have to follow up and follow up and follow up. You have to constantly be creating content. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Like, you put all this time and energy into thinking about like the next great video you're going to do that's going to be educational, entertaining, empowering, and engaging. And so hopefully when you post this new amazing piece of content that you spent all this time thinking about, and then the setup and the shooting and the like, or it's like, okay, now I got the video, I did the live, now I have to do my Instagram post, and now I have to repurpose it for LinkedIn, and now I have to slide into the DMs, and now I got to answer all the comments. Like, is this sounding familiar to anyone? Anyone been on this treadmill? And so, best case scenario, it is engaging. People do comment, they do like, they do share, creates more work for you. You get into work and work. In about 6 hours to maybe 24 hours at best, that piece of content is dead. And you're what? What's my next idea? What am I going to post about? That one was good. Maybe I can do something that was a little bit like it, but not exactly the same, but a little bit different. Or maybe I can post that one over here. And y'all, it's exhausting. I mean, it's literally like a treadmill. You're like, tired, do it again. And I'm not, listen, a lot of my friends, y'all might know Glenda Baker on TikTok, or y'all might know Giselle over on Instagram. Y'all might know some of these people that, from the outside looking in, they look really, 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 really successful. But Glenda was already doing a boatload of business. And Glenda paid a professional videographer she smiles and shoots, and he does everything else and posts it. So maybe you have a 6-figure budget for your TikTok launch, but I didn't. And so the thing is, when you're on social media, you're interrupting what they're doing. It's a long sales cycle, and it's not leveraged. It's time consuming. It eats your time. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't do it? No. But here, I now more than ever firmly believe that everyone, not just realtors, anyone with a business should be on YouTube first. master their craft there, and then repurpose it when they have revenue and resources for all of the other platforms. And here's why I say that. With YouTube, when you spend 2 hours thinking about shooting, formulating, creating, maybe in the beginning you really suck and it takes you 5 hours to do a 10-minute video. I know what some of you are thinking, 10 minutes. Oh my God, like I can't even get through 30 seconds on an Insta story. How am I going to do 10 minutes? I'm going to talk about the production process. And by the way, Carrie, just keep me on track for time because I'll just keep talking and talking and talking. Or interrupt if I miss something and you need me to expand on it. So on YouTube, it is intentional. They are on YouTube looking for what you are selling. I don't care if you sell spoons, real estate, fishing lures. They went to the internet. They opened up either Google or YouTube. By the way, YouTube is the #2 most used search engine, and it's owned by the #1, which is Google. So Google treats YouTube just like Google. If you Google a term, you will see YouTube videos at the top. You'll see like a couple of ads, and then maybe a couple of organic links, and then you'll see a video section. If they click on the video button, then it's just videos. And so the reason I'm pointing this out is because someone is not scrolling for their grandkids or boobs or fishing lures or whatever. They're not just going through. They are on there looking for what you have to offer. So they go there, they type in living in Reno, Nevada. They type in pros and cons, Atlanta, Georgia. They type in cost of living, Houston, Texas. And there you pop up. Yes, I'm going to talk to you about how to make yourself the person that pops up. But think about the intent of the person on the other side of the screen. They're there to look for a home. So we are already light years better than Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn because they're there for what you have to offer. So now if you can be the one that is found, they are in the market right now to buy or sell. So the conversion in the sales cycle is super short. You don't have to stay in touch with them for 4 years before it's time for them to buy. Like they're buying in the next 3 to 6 months most of the time. Some people who are super planners, not me, but super planners reach out 2 or 3 years in advance and say, hey, 3 years from now, I'm moving. I'm not talking about those. Most of them are like, hey, 6 months from now, I got to go. I'm moving. And so they're in the mindset of they're buying. And now think about this, a video that you take 3 to 5 hours, I'm including all of the planning, all of the prep, all of the shooting. I highly recommend you outsource editing and optimization unless you just love that stuff and that was your career before real estate. We'll talk about that in a second. But even if you do it all, and let's say it takes you 5 hours, instead of when you post that great viral video on Instagram or that great live on Facebook and it vanishing 2 weeks or a day or two later to never be found again, the videos you post on YouTube get found over and over and over. The longer they're there, the harder they work for you. It's a highly leveraged business development activity. And I think, Carrie, can I share my screen? Do you have to make me something? Carrie might have stepped away. I'll come back and I'll
Sorry, I'm multitasking.
Do you have
right
the
now.
permissions to share?
Oh, you can't share? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Please do. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. I think I'm good. All right. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is me popping on YouTube. This is called the home page. And if I go over here and open up my channel, let me pause this. And let me pop over here to manage videos. And this is a little tool I use called TubeBuddy. I'll talk to y'all more about that in a minute. And I'll go over here to my dashboard. And so just to give you an idea, the last video that I published right here is in the top 5 of the top 10 videos that I've ever published. That if you're creating decent content, you're optimizing it in a similar fashion, you're going to consistently pop up in your own top 10 because you're building a subscriber base and you're getting more and more and more and more and more subscribers. So you've got more exposure with each new launch. But if you can get into your top 1 or top 10, like you've got a really hot topic or a really great video. But I just want to show you guys something really quick. If I look at all of my videos and I sort them by the most popular, and I open this first video.
Hey,
well, actually, let me let it get
Georgia
past that.
homeowners. If you're a Georgia Power customer, then this video is for you. There's a add value.
All right. If you can see over here, this is a TubeBuddy plugin. I can show you all exactly what that is. But here's what I want you to see. This video has been viewed 6,200 times. If I click on the analytics for this video, it's been viewed 6,200 times. It's been watched for 611 hours. Think about that. It took me probably 2 hours. The video is only 27 minutes long. It's 27 minutes. It's been viewed 611 hours. If you're making phone calls, and let's say your goal is to call 2 hours a day, you call 2 hours a day, and the next day, what do you have to do? Call 2 hours a day. And the next day you knock on doors for 2 hours. And the next day you do something else for 2 hours. You have a business development activity that you do over and over and over. It took me 2 hours to make that one video. And so far in my little tiny channel, it has been viewed 611 hours. That's one video. I have 73 of them, I think, published. So it is passive, leveraged, residual prospecting. Think about that. Can you imagine if the auto dialer on the phone, on your Vulcan 7 phone set, if the AI was so smart that it just had the conversations for you? You didn't even have to make the phone call. You made one phone call, or you made phone calls for one day for 2 hours, and it learned your voice and everything about you, and then it just had 2 hours of phone calls every day. Like, that's what it's like. If I showed you, Levi or Travis or Jackson or Jesse, all these people that I'm literally copying, I say that with the most respect because they're copying someone else. Like, it's all rinse and repeat. It's learn something that's effective, implement it in your business, and then make it your own. So you imitate, and eventually you get creative, and you bring your personality to it. So you're not trying to be them, but just like if someone was making phone calls in your office and they were calling FSBOs and expireds, and then you decided to call FSBOs and expired, it's a different conversation, right? You've got some scripts, but you're bringing your personality to it and your energy. And so you can't outwork YouTube. I'll go back here. So 611 hours. Here's some other analytics you can see. Here you can look at the reach. You can see where they're coming through. A click-through rate is like whenever they see this thumbnail over here, the picture of your video, whenever they see that, a percentage of the like if 100 people see that thumbnail on their screen and five of them click in it, you have a 5% click-through rate. Industry standard, anything around 4 or 5 is great. I have some that get 7, 8, and I have some that get 3 or 4. And that's just all, you're just learning as you go. So you can see the impressions. That's how many screens it's been on. You can see the click-through rate. That's how, the percentage of people that click on it. You can see the viewers, how they found it. They found it in YouTube search, browser features, suggested videos, channels. And here's kind of the funnel of impressions, clicks, the view duration. If you can see this over here, the view duration, when you talk fast, it sounds like view duration, like one word. It's how long they stayed on that video. So this video is getting watched 6 minutes and 21 seconds. I'm going to make another point. How many of you have anyone on your Facebook Live for more than 6 minutes and 21 seconds? The answer is none. Like, it's literally 0. You get like 30 seconds to a minute, and then they're on to the next one. And this would be me too. It's the platform. People, let me see. I wonder if I can see it. I wonder if I can find it. So they're getting transferred over from Google searches. I told y'all that. So there's Google searches is 30% of them. They're coming from YouTube, from other search engines, Gmail, areas that they're in. Here's the videos that are also recommending. So I'm getting Augusta, hometown, Georgia homepage referrals, America's top 7 best cities to live in. So it's tell me what other videos are sending them my way, playlist that I'm on. What I was wondering is, I forget which one of these has what they're watching it on. Audience, so you can tell where they're from, age, gender, language, that type. Some of these people are literally watching on their home TV. They're sitting down on their couch to do research about this new city that they're moving to, and they're literally putting YouTube on their TV, and they're watching your YouTube video on their big screen. And here's the psychology behind it. People are so enamored by celebrities that are on TV that they have kind of transferred that respect, affinity, even almost like they're fans. Yo, when I tell you, oh, I should have done this earlier. Look at this. Is that better? Turn this up. It's also the light on my computer. When I tell you the messages I get, so in all of my videos, my part of my call to action is like, hey, if this is your, well, actually, I'll go through the whole thing here in a minute, because I don't want to just give you a portion of it. But part of my call to action is to call, text, or email. The text messages I get, the emails I get, it's not like when you're buying Zillow leads or getting internet leads or social media leads or calling leads, where they're being harassed and they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you, they don't want to talk to you. You're one of 10 different people who have called them, and they're like, leave me alone. And every question you ask them, they put up sales resistance and they don't want to answer the question. What I get are text messages or phone calls or emails. They're like, Denny, I've watched all of your videos. We love you. We're moving to Atlanta. My wife and I are moving to Atlanta from Colorado. We have to be there by August 17th. Our daughter, Sarah, who's 11, she's going into middle school, and we need to, the schools are important to us. Our son, Zach, who's just 2 years old, like, we're going to need help finding a good preschool for him. We're thinking about Roswell or Johns Creek or maybe Alpharetta. Our budget's $650,000. We need a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 3,000 square feet. I want a garage. We must have that. We'd love y'all. Every question you ask, they just give it to you. Like, you don't even have to ask a question, because in the initial message, they are a high intent buyer. So they want help from you. They don't, Carrie, they don't call me and go, hey, Denny, I watched all your videos. You suck.
I hope they don't call you to tell you that.
Some people might think that, but they don't bother telling me. They just call another agent. So I'm only getting calls from the people who have already decided that I'm the one. And they're like, hey, I know you're super busy. Could you please? How many of you have had someone call you and say, Carrie, I know you're so busy. Could you please take my money? Because that's the experience you have on YouTube. And so just kind of put a bow on this so we can move on to the actual practical process. Social media is interruption marketing. YouTube is like their high intent. Social media is like you got to follow up forever. YouTube is like they're ready to go. Social media is you post in it, your content dies. YouTube is you post and your content grows and grows and grows and grows and works for you. Call leads, they hate you. They call you, they already love you. And so you're still building a brand based on your personality and that kind of stuff, but you're not making YouTube videos about, like, I still love fitness and I still love soccer and I still have 4 kids and I still am heavily involved in my church and I'm still doing all these things, but I'm not optimizing YouTube videos about any of that. But it comes through in my videos. Like my kids are with me sometimes, and it is such a low key, laid back, authentic. That's just the way that I roll. And so that comes across. Like I talk about my involvement at church. I talk about working out, or I talk about the proximity to the outdoor hiking and walking and biking because I like to do those things. I talk about why I love the areas, or if I moved there, because it might be a suburb I don't live in. You know, I talk about all that stuff. The brand comes through, but everything is geared towards answering a question in a relocation buyer. And that is, my channel is geared towards relocation buyers from other areas to Atlanta. It's geared towards answering those questions. So I'm going to show you real quick some results in case you haven't been paying attention. And then I'll tell you how you get those results. So keep in mind, I didn't tell you at the beginning, my background was real estate for a long time. My partner was a lead character on A&E's Flip This House. So we flipped a bunch of houses. We run a networking event specific to real estate here in Atlanta. We have over 20,000 members. Hundreds of people come every single month. That's tomorrow night. It's my favorite night of the month, the first and third Thursday. It's called Real Estate Connections. We are on Facebook. We do have a group. If you want to join it, you should. So I was already doing that, but I got my license 3 years ago. With EXP, I did a little over 4 million the first year, a little over 5 million the second year, over 7 million my third year. And I just launched my YouTube channel at the end of November. And here we are in the middle of the following year. And I've already done more business in the first half of the year than I did all of last year. So I can't turn off the sphere of influence referrals that I'm getting, but just as a evolution of my business, and you may have just got your license, or you may be further down this road than I am, but I vowed at the beginning of the year with the YouTube channel to not take any more clients personally. So 100% of my sphere and YouTube and referrals, I have built a small team. I have 3 guys who handle all of the clients, and 2 of them were very seasoned agents. By the way, for Agent Attraction, these 2 guys would have never joined me without a YouTube channel. They were already doing 15 million a year each. And so they joined my team. And I got a guy who was like a 3rd-year agent doing about 2 or 3 million. And he's, his goal is to level up. And so now I've got a couple of people handling all the clients, so I can do the YouTube channel. Like, that's where I need to focus. I can't tell you what will be best for you. I have 4 children, and I just told you multiple businesses. So some people that, like, they're single, they got no kids, and all they are is a realtor. I'm not saying that's not enough, but I'm saying you could probably shoot your videos and work your clients until you get to a critical mass where you're too busy. So my whole life has been use up all the time I have, then find leverage points to free me up to do more, and then find leverage points to free me up. And so for me, YouTube was just another evolution of that. I was already at a point where, with multiple businesses and kids, I wasn't going to go past 7 or 8 million if I had to prospect, work the client, prospect, work the client. So whether you want to be solo, whether you want to build a team, that's up to you, but this has just been my experience. And so let me get back over here and share my screen. You can't see it if I don't share it. So I'll put a bow on this channel really quick. This is called the home screen. Like this is just like your profile, your channel. And so whenever you come here, you're going to have cover art. That's kind of what mine looks like. You're going to have your name and your picture. And then this is in the middle, this is all a TubeBuddy plugin so that you can see all the analytics on your own channel. You can also see all the analytics on other people's channel. And below that, you have popular uploads, playlist that you create. So you can see here that I've published 73 videos, getting anywhere from 150 to 450 views a day. And I have just under 50,000 views total for the channel. And when you go over here, you hit videos and sort by, you can do newest, oldest, most popular. And so if you're looking at other people's channels, that's how you can sort through that. These little pictures are called thumbnails, but you can instantly see which videos have done the best and which videos haven't. Sometimes that's because these videos are newer, and sometimes it's because they just sucked. So here is my CRM back office. I use this specifically because of the reporting features that it has. I like dashboards so that I can see what's going on in my business. So you can see since I've started the channel, I've had 28 opportunities. For me, an opportunity is not just someone who calls, texts, or emails, but we get beyond the initial call, text, or email to an actual conversation where we have engaged in a relationship. As a result of that, I've got right at $11.6 million in the pipeline, have converted 28.57% of that. You can see closed from YouTube is 2.3 million. Open still is 7.2 million. So the team is working actively with those people. And then 2.1 million has been lost. What is lost? We had a client who, after we shopped for a while, they actually got a raise at work. And so with a 70% raise, they just decided to stay and not move. And so you have all kinds of things like that are outside of your control. You're not going to get 100% conversion, but I will let you know that conversions on YouTube in the 20 to 30% range, anything above 20% is insane. The conversions for, Carrie, what do you think conversions for Zillow leads are?
So Zillow leads might be a little bit higher if you're looking at just general online leads, like through a CRM, and it could be through a KV Core or a Boomtown or something like that. I would say 5 to 6%. You're doing really good if you're around that. Zillow might be a little higher, but maybe 10%. I mean, these are not high numbers, really.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't going to interrupt, but I was going to say, as someone who used to purchase Zillow leads and work them at a really high level, my sales rep, the person who sold me these leads that I was buying, we worked on my conversion numbers quite a bit, and I was hitting around 14%, and he said that was more than double what their average was. So
Yeah,
that's,
I'd say
7%, I guess, would be the average on a Zillow.
And you're absolutely right. So I'd say most people get 3 or 4. The ones that are really, really good get 7 or 8, and you are crushing it if you got 14. And even self-described crushing it,
It was great while it lasted, and I stepped away while so because there become a point when you're feeding the machine. But anyway, that's a different. But it was a really good. It was because of the follow-up, so I'll leave that at that. But.
And you may or may not want to share this, but what were you spending?
More than a mortgage payment.
So y'all,
yeah,
this
bad investment, or actually good investment advice. Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you should never do it. I mean, if you enjoy it, it works for you, and you have the time to add that to it, or you have a team that you can assign to it, then that's one thing.
Right.
But for me,
that it was completely different when I started off much lower. I started off at like less than like just a couple $100 a month or whatever, and built myself up that. And then when I needed to step away from it. So, but I mean, conversion rates are amazing on YouTube is the whole point, is what I was getting at there.
Yeah, because even your self-described 14%, we're doing double that. And I don't even think, we're just scratching the surface. There's so many leaky holes in our funnel where
and you're not making a mortgage payment to do it.
yeah. And that's the icing on the cake, is like, this YouTube costs time, but it's leverage. It's the time that keeps giving back. And it can be free. I say can be because you're going to have to do the editing and optimization. Now, when you start to outsource that stuff, here's the good news. You're outsourcing it with revenue from the asset itself. Like, it's making you money. So you can start to buy your time back. You can say, okay, well, I did this thing with just my own time, energy, and effort. You're releasing videos, you're doing the editing and optimization, but on Fiverr, on Upwork, on any of these, virtual assistants. I've been using virtual assistants for years, and have had one that's worked full-time for me for about 5 years. And I swear by them. You got to kiss some toads to ultimately find a prince or a princess, someone that works well with you and that's dependable. But when you do, that they're so valuable in terms of the price. And so VAs are leveraged, YouTube's leveraged. If you're going to outsource this, you want someone that has experience with YouTube editing video and with YouTube optimization, or maybe you get a separate person for editing and a separate person for optimization. But again, you're looking at, we just got started. We're at 11.6 million in terms of the total opportunity, closed 2.3 million. So you're talking what, $70,000 closed in just the first couple of months of the channel. And in the beginning, for 3 or 4 months, we got no leads. Now we're literally getting, I'd say, 2 to 3 leads a week. Some weeks it's 1, some weeks it's 7, but we're consistently getting people reaching out each and every day. And so I want to talk about 2 things. Carrie, what time do we need to wrap this up?
We're good until noon Pacific, 3 o'clock your time if you are.
Okay.
So anytime in the next 20 minutes that you need to be off.
Well, I want to give people at least some time to ask questions. So I'll try to put a bow on this. There's 2 things I want to talk about. One is just the channel layout and optimization, and the other are like ideas that you come up with and how you shoot. And so since I'm here, I'll just talk about this. You want a cover banner like this, and you'll notice that over here it says let's meet in person, and I've got a link to a real estate call. I didn't distract people with Facebook or Instagram links. I'm not trying to take them off of YouTube. I want them to stay on YouTube. YouTube likes when you stay on YouTube. I have this cover photo. It says subscribe. I'm telling them what to do, telling them what the channel's about, learn about living in Atlanta. I intentionally picked, a female, Hispanic, white, I have that's my wife, by the way. And Oscar is an icon with EXP and in my local market, and someone I work closely with. So when I launched the channel, I need to redo all this, but it was just me. And I was like, okay, so how do I bring some diversity to my channel? I was like, Oscar, if I get people that are in yours, because he's in an area that I don't service, will you take these leads? He's like, yes. I'm like, can I put your face on my YouTube cover? He's like, yes. I looked at my wife and said, I'm putting your face on my YouTube cover because you're pretty. So there you have your cover. And then over here, the name, I'm not the only living in Atlanta, Georgia. There's more of them. You don't have to just pick the one you like. It could be, moving to Georgia, living in Atlanta, moving to Atlanta, Georgia, is city, state. So I run a relocation focused channel. There's lots of other kinds of channels, but in my opinion, this is the one that's proven to work, this strategy, and highly recommend that you pursue it if you do this. You can see 763 subscribers since mid-November of last year. And so about every 60 to 90 days, the subscriber base is doubling. So, 0 to 100 was really, really hard. 100 to, 763 was easier than 0 to 100. And next thing you know, I'll have 2,000. And so that's the direction of this. I want to say Levi and Travis, from their first full year, they were up to 7,000 subscribers, and now they've doubled that again. And I think they have close to 14,000 subscribers. Jackson and Jesse and 13 different channels they run are anywhere from 1,000 to 15,000 subscribers, depending on how long the channel's been there. Another thing is, and we'll talk about it in the shooting process, but whatever you're going to do it consistently. Commit to 1 video a month, a week, or 2 videos a week, or ideally 3 videos a week if you really, really want to make it happen quickly. And so this is the channel, this about me section. You're just trying to describe exactly who you're looking to serve and how to get in touch with you. That's important. These playlists, this is just, I have mine organized by suburbs. And so over on the home screen, if you scroll down, local, oh my God, I'm talking again. Be quiet, Denny. You see Atlanta, living in the city, Alpharetta, which is a suburb, Marietta, which is a suburb, Roswell, which is a suburb, Cumming, which is a suburb. So these are all organized. If someone wanted to look at that specific suburb, they could see all the videos with that suburb. And then here's kind of the analytics that I talked about in the beginning. If you go back here to your videos, let me just get to content. You'll have a dashboard, and this dashboard shares just kind of like what's going on in your business, right, or in your channel right now. See this, the view duration was down a little bit in this particular video, but look, the impressions 7.6, that's up, and it's been viewed 159 times in its first 3 days. The best video at that point for me was 217 views in the first 3 days. So you can kind of always see where your latest video is ranking. You can go over to your video or your channel analytics, and you can see the best content, how many views in the last month. So this one's still performing best. And my goal is to knock that one off of the top slot. So always reviewing my best videos and experimenting with new things. Talking about new things, I'm going to show you how to optimize a video really quick. So when you pick one of these videos, and I'm just going to open up the latest one, they're working on this one. These are all the things when we say the word optimization. Actually, let me stop this real quick. When we say the word optimization, what we're talking about is the questions, the keywords, the topic that is running through your perfect client's mind. Like if they go to Google and they type in something, what are they typing it in? So you're trying to optimize the video for that. So right now, one of the things that's on a lot of people's mind, right, is interest rates, or is the market going to crash? Like those are hot topics. And so you would use a tool like TubeBuddy, and I'll open up this keyword explorer. By the way, I need to give y'all a link. To get TubeBuddy if y'all are going to go through with this, because you're going to need it. Full disclosure, I do get a commission, but it costs you the same thing that you would have to buy it anywhere else. There it is. So it's tubebuddy.com/A-list. Why do y'all think I picked A-list?
I don't see it. Did you put it in the chat box?
Yeah, I am right now. Hold on one second. Chat.
Oh, sorry. I thought you already did.
Boom. There we go.
Perfect.
All right. So there's TubeBuddy. We'll kill that. So on your channel, you have, when you get TubeBuddy, you'll have this drop down, and this drop down has a planner. So if you click keyword on the side, if you wanted to do research in your local market, for me, I start with all the suburbs. I'm like Marietta, and you see all these things start to pop up down here. So maybe I do Marietta, GA, and I explore that, and it shows me that 523,000 monthly searches. And so maybe I do Roswell, GA. And I have 286,000 searches. And then so then I do Alpharetta, GA. And I have 456,000 searches. All right, Carrie, that's how I decide which suburbs to start with. I might go through, like you're in your city and state, I might go through all of the suburbs mentally. And if you don't know them all, Google it. Like if you're new to the city, Google top suburbs in your city and then find all of them, and then figure out which ones have the most monthly search volume. Start with those, like make yourself a list of 10 or 15 suburbs and start with the top 3. And so then you're going to go into each one of those and then you're going to research things like living in Alpharetta, GA. You can see over here, if I click common tabs, these are all of the other keywords that I might use. Alpharetta, Georgia, living in Alpharetta, Georgia, Alpharetta, GA real estate, moving to Alpharetta, GA, moving to Atlanta, living in Georgia, best Atlanta suburbs. You see how that can turn into not only just tags and keywords for your video, but new topics. And so one of them is, of course, in every place, is cost of living. So you might want to do cost of living in the major metro, and then you might want to do cost of living in some of the top suburbs. And then you look for common tags over there. So cost of living, same thing. Pros and cons of living in that city and state. And you're going to find stuff related to that. And there's going to be other common tags on the side, might give you even more ideas. Then, if you do pros and cons, so you can do pros and cons or good and bad. You see how like you're trying to both identify markets and topics. And then when you're optimizing a video, there might be 5 different ways to say the same thing. Does that make sense? And so this is a keyword planning tool. So when I shoot a video, I'm not shooting for the most part. Like I've been talking to y'all now for almost an hour. Like I'm not just talking for an hour. If it's a 20 or 30 minute video, like it's a bunch of short clips. And so I want y'all to take really good notes. I'm going to talk fast. The best video you can do, I talked about pros and cons and cost of living, is called a vlog. It's kind of like sharing the lifestyle and a couple of properties. My channel is living in Atlanta, Georgia. Y'all are welcome to go watch the vlog videos. But I break it up into 7 or 8 little pieces. So the hook is the beginning of the video. This is my whole process. I have ideas. I say, okay, I'm going to shoot this video. The hook is, so you're thinking about moving to Alpharetta, Georgia. You've literally just inserted yourself into their brain. They're like, holy shit, how did he know that? Well, because you Googled it and you found my video. That's how I know that you're thinking about that. So you're thinking about moving to Atlanta, Georgia, but you're wondering exactly what the cost of living is compared to San Francisco. I did a video on cost of living, San Fran versus Atlanta, LA versus Atlanta, New York versus Atlanta, Houston versus Atlanta, Dallas versus Atlanta. It's either going to be someone moving from Dallas or someone who's thinking about Dallas or Atlanta. And they find my video and you go, oh, so you're wondering what the cost of living difference is between Atlanta and Dallas? And they're like, oh, you read my mind. So the hook is like you give them right up front, you're setting the hook like this is why you're here, right? And so once I do that, then I tell them, so you're thinking about moving to Alpharetta, Georgia, but you're wondering what the cost of living is. And that's exactly what we're going to tackle in this video. We're going to talk about the education. We're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about taxes, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to get after it right now. And then it cuts to a like 15-second, what I call a sizzle reel, which is just an editor put together with music, you know, me out and about, pictures, video, music, in 10 to 15 seconds, makes me look cool. And then it cuts back. And so I just recorded really like 30 seconds on the front end. I didn't, not 20 minutes, 30 seconds. That 15-second video is the same all the time. And then the next minute or two, I say, hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Atlanta, Georgia, well, then subscribe below and ring the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Atlanta. And when we release new content just like this. My name's Denny. The team and I get calls each and every day from people just like you looking to make the move to Atlanta, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving next week, next year, or anytime in between, call, text, email, schedule a Zoom, send a carrier pigeon, whatever's comfortable for you. Be happy to help you make a smooth move to Atlanta. You think I've said that a time or two yet? That I repeat that every time. Like you could wake me up and say, what's the intro? And I'm like, hey, if this is your first time to the channel, like I just know what it is. And so that front end is like 30 seconds. And then that's like 1 or 2 minutes. And then I just roll into that video. So in this video, we're here in downtown Alpharetta, and I'm like, look, this is really cool. And I'm like in a downtown area or a big mixed use development or like a really popular, significant, landmark for that area where people are going to be like, ooh, that's really cool. And so I'm surrounded by that kind of stuff. And if it's like a rural area, I'm at like the super Kroger going like, you want to live here? This is it. You got some chain restaurants, you got super Kroger, 8,000 people live here, but the homes are half price compared to, Frisco. So it's not that you're trying to change what the place is. You're trying to share what the place is. And so I'm in that significant place and I say, hey, I'm here in downtown Alpharetta. I see coffee shops and breweries and kids playing in the fountain. And this is kind of what's going on here. The median income, the median home price, like this is kind of a general idea. Here's the local high school won the state championship. I'm just like giving a little bit of flavor for a minute or two. And then I say, hey, let's get to the first stop on our tour. Or no, in this video, we're going to show you a couple of different properties in a couple of different price points so you can get an idea of what the market looks like. So let's go check out the first property. And then it cuts and I'm standing in front of a house. And so what I do, just giving you all my process, telling you all my secrets, I pull up Zillow and I find 3 homes that are in different price points that are in the same area. So I can cut down on driving. All I need is bed, bath, price, square foot, and I literally walk down the street with a selfie stick pointed at me. Here's a pro tip on your phone. I don't know if y'all can see this video. It might be different on a bunch of other phones. This is an iPhone. Up here, there's a HD 60. It's normally on 30. You need to push that little thing right there. Can I get my finger to work? And move it to 60 frames per second. You do not want it on 4K. The file size is too big. You want it on HD, this 1080. Then this little zoomer thingy, zoom all the way out. See, this is the original setting. Y'all see that? And then boom, that's all the way out. Let me show you the difference. If I'm trying to shoot my selfie stick YouTube video and you see this, or you see this. Does that make sense?
More of the house.
So when I'm walking down the street, I have no doubt they can see everything back here. I don't have to worry about, is the house in the shot? Is my face in the shot? No, if you wide angle zoom, you can see everything. And so I'm literally have a selfie stick in your phone. You can get a lav mic that's wireless, or you can get just a dead cat. Hold on one second. This thing is called a dead cat. It's like a windscreen. And so you have one of 2 options if you're going to vlog. You have tripod, action camera like a GoPro with one of these things, This is another pro tip. If you want this thing to not bounce around, you fix it in the end like that so that it holds it up, doesn't bounce around. Worst thing ever, you get home and you see this thing bounced in your video the whole time. Brr, 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 brr. I've done it. It's real talk. I mean, I've done it. Make you want to shoot someone, and you just wasted 5 hours of your life. You got to go reshoot it. But this same setup comes with your phone. So either one. Levi loves this. I don't like, but he also carries 2 phones. He has a dedicated iPhone just for that. I didn't want to be interrupted. I didn't want to have to put it on airplane because then I forget to take it off airplane. And then my wife's like, why didn't you answer your phone? I'm like, well, I put it on airplane. I was shooting and then I forgot. Sorry. And I didn't like the transferring it from my phone to my computer. If this is your speed, like that's fine. I'm not knocking it. Levi and Travis have made like $1 million with it. So you can do it. This is just, it's always set up. It literally was in my bag in there. All I got to just grab it. And I'm like, look, this is me. I'm walking down the street. Behind me is a house. And I'm just like, hey, this home, this Johns Creek home was built in 1996. It's 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. It probably is going to get knocked down and they're going to build a different house right here. But whether you want to live in it or knock it over, it's listed at $375,000. It looks like garbage inside. Like I will literally, or I might be like, look at this beautiful equestrian estates, $2 million. Like I just walk down the street and I just talk about it. And then the editor pulls pop-up supportive. Maybe it's the bedroom, bathroom. Maybe it's the price. Maybe it's the photo of the outside. Maybe it's a photo of the inside. They'll even source, like this came from Zillow, the picture, like whatever it is. We never mention the address because we're not actually selling the house. That house is probably not going to be available when they're watching. We're educating the consumer as to what the market looks like. Does that make sense? And so the hook is the beginning. The sizzle is that little 10 or 15 seconds. The call to action, subscribe to the channel and reach out and call me. If you don't tell them to reach out and call you, they won't. And then I show them a house in the entry level price point, a house in the step up price point, and a house in the aspirational price point. And then if I just happen to roll by something interesting or different or unique, I'll throw that one in there too. And then I circle back and I go to a coffee shop and I'm sitting there with like a latte, tell them where I'm at, tell them what I'm drinking, or I'm sitting at a brewery, tell them where I'm at, tell them what I'm drinking. I have more than one person call me and I say, so why'd you call? And they say, well, I drink beer. That's literally like I either have a craft coffee or a craft beer, and people like, hey, I'm into coffee. You seem like a normal guy. And so that's I shoot at the end of a vlog, I do a market recap. So I might just talk about days on market, the same stuff that you would normally do, but I'm doing it in a cool place at the end of a very action-packed, value-driven video. And so that whole thing, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. It's not a 20-minute me talking. So that is how you shoot a vlog. Pros and cons. You might walk down the street and say, hey, Carrie, tell me what your favorite part is about living in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Boom, you nail it. Next person, I might ask 10 people that.
Idea.
And then I might go around and ask 10 people, hey, if you could change anything about living here, what would it be? Oh, the traffic's fucking terrible. I hate this place. Well, you didn't say it. You just recorded it. And then your editor goes boom, 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 boom. Hey, here's real people, real talk. And you just there's your pros and cons. So you got to get a little bit of creative. You got to get outside the box. You get maybe you just want to sit in front of a green screen and talk. It's not set up yet. If y'all go look at some of my old YouTube videos, you'll see the last house I moved out of. This house in here was built in 1994. So we're going to gut the whole thing and redo it, but I haven't set up my YouTube studio yet. But even in the midst of all the chaos that is my real life, you see all the laundry over there that we haven't got to? Yeah, I have 4 kids. Did I mention that? And my wife works full time at our church. I will set up a corner of my basement where I set up the lighting in the background and it looks cool. And I can walk in there and I can flick it all on and I know it's ready to shoot. You know what I mean? Like that'll just be my little slice of the house that stays photo ready, video ready. And you could just sit there and talk. You could talk about the pros and cons. You can talk about the cost of living. You can talk about a market update. You can talk about interest rates. You can talk about if it's, so it, for me, it's a mixture of going out and doing all that and stuff that you can shoot in your office like a talking head. But what you don't want to do that people tend to do is they start to get into more lifestyle stuff. Don't do home tours. They don't work. Nobody wants to see a home tour of a $500,000 house. $5 million house? Yes. $500,000 house? No. If I do a home tour, the editor speeds it up, you know what I mean? And just like slows down on the really significant parts. If it is new construction or if it is luxury, you can do that. But don't think you're just going to go out and do a bunch of home tours and that's going to be your channel. It won't work. You can mix it in, but you got to do some cost of living, some pros and cons. Be real. Tell them some stuff that like just sucks. One of my best videos ever, I ask people on Facebook if, I forget the way I structured the question, but I was like, if you were moving to Atlanta, basically, what would you want to know? And I got hundreds of comments and some of them was the same stuff over and over and over, but I got like 20 really good ideas that I would have never thought of. So I was like, okay, great. Well, I'm gonna start sourcing my content from my Facebook feed. So think about what people would want to know. What would you want to know if you were moving across the country? And like answer those questions through a video, but do it in an interesting way. And so that's how you come up with content. That's how you shoot it. One of the things that some of the agents I'm training on my team to do video were surprised by is how much I'm willing to just mess up on camera. I could trip and fall. I don't give a shit. I stutter. I don't care. I use the wrong word. It don't matter. One of two things happen. People either giggle or my editor takes it out. Like, that's it. They chop all the stupid stuff in it. Or if I do something and like, I look like an idiot, the editor will zoom in and make me super look like an idiot. Like I took a drink of a Guinness beer and I had like a Guinness mustache and they're like, oh. So like just own that kind of stuff.
I mean, the authenticity and the transparency is what grabs people. People want to know that you're being yourself. I always say if you're acting too scripted and they can't really tell who you are and they can't really see your personality, how do they know if they like you? We're in a business that they have to know you, like you, and trust you. And we got to get through know and like to trust. And if they never know if they like you, then they can't trust you. And that's one thing that I've known about you, Denny, is that you just are yourself. And over the years, that has worked for me as well. And you just kind of get over that fear because not everybody's going to like you, whether you're being yourself or not. You can't, so why not find the people that are like you, that are automatically going to like you anyway? Those are the people you want to be in business with and aligned with in the first place.
Yeah. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Like that's why people that watch my videos, like they just self-select.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll share, and we're a few minutes over, so I'll see if anybody has any questions, but this is my channel. And so when I talked about like you came up with this idea, you went out, you shot all of the different clips. For me, I upload all the raw clips and any supportive information into a G drive. The editor pulls all that stuff and they do their job. Here's Trello. I have a Trello board. For those of you that don't know it, it's like a project management. And so here's videos to shoot. Here's when I'm ready to shoot them. I move them to ready to editing. They move them when they're in editing. They move them when I need to review it. I move it when I approve it. They move it. The person that optimizes it moves it when it's ready to publish. The publisher moves it into published. And so that's our Trello board. That's just the flow we've come up with. When they say optimize, the file name for the thumbnail. So a designer creates this thumbnail. You can create them yourself on Canva. There's templates for it, or you can get a VA to do it for $5 or $10. I'd say just get somebody else to do it unless you're a graphic designer. So they do the thumbnail. The file name of the thumbnail is probably going to be living in Alpharetta, Georgia, JPEG. The file name for this video is going to be living in Alpharetta, luxury living in Alpharetta, Georgia, real estate agent Denny Faircloth.mp4. You get what I'm saying? Like the file name is optimized, the title is optimized, The description is optimized. So all of those things are optimized.
So I'm noticing that just in this one thing, you have Alpharetta, Georgia, like a bazillion times. So when you say
Yeah.
optimize, that's probably one of the optimizations is we have to keep repeating this because of Google searching.
Yeah, or cost of living, or pros and cons, the good and the bad of
Okay.
living in the pros of living in Alpharetta, the downside to living in Alpharetta, the great things about Alpharetta. You just say it 10 different ways.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
then you have a couple of hashtags at the
Hashtags.
very bottom, just 3 of them. And then you add your thumbnail.
Yep.
And then you add it to the playlist, whatever playlist it's going to be in. You see all those playlists right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you, based on your keyword research, you can see here you have up to 500
Yep.
characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do that. And these are suggestions. So it suggests things for you to use.
Okay.
And you
Mhm.
organize all your keywords that you, this is all in the studio. And you have to have this TubeBuddy that I gave y'all, TubeBuddy.com
Okay.
/ A-list. It is going to be, you'll be guessing if you don't have that tool.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, like Denny said, if you're going to do it, you might as well have the right tools
And
for
I
it.
think
So
it's
you
like
can,
and you need the legend accounts, like $400 or $500 a year.
that is for YouTube or that's the
For
TubeBuddy?
TubeBuddy.
Okay.
For
Okay.
TubeBuddy.
So
The
Denny,
location, hold on one second. The location goes right
Okay.
there. And I think that's it.
Okay.
There's an end screen that you add to it, but that's at a high level, drink from the fire hydrant. You come up with ideas, you shoot them. Hopefully you have someone else editing them, or you edit them until you can get enough resources to do it yourself. Then either you or someone, I had an editor and I did the optimization. I wanted to learn what the optimization was. I didn't show it to y'all. TubeBuddy gives you this ranking. Look at this. If I go to my channel and you just clicked on random videos.
Hey, Georgia homeowners. If you're a Georgia Power customer, then this video is for you. There's a new.
So you're moving to Atlanta. See this optimization score over here?
Mm-hmm.
95.
Okay. So you can know you're guided as to like, are you really optimizing this? If you have a low score, then you need to figure out what you're doing or what you need to add.
We're gonna go floor to ceiling.
It takes a little bit of the guessing out of it.
See 100, and then it gives you in that drop down, you see all those
what you can do.
Titles in the tags in the title.
That's great.
And so this tool, and then here's all the keywords I'm trying to rank for.
Yeah.
If I went to, and I don't even know.
So in the meantime, Denny, I'm going to put your information here so that, do you help people with this more of a one-on-one? I know you and I talked a little bit about maybe offering something via group or like a workshop. Are you still open to that? Are you busy? Do you have time?
I mean, I don't want to, I don't want a ton of that, but
maybe a small group.
Let me,
as much time.
Yeah, let me,
I'll let you marinate on that.
I'm not like, this is not a setup. I promise y'all. There's 2 things that have to work. One is it's going to be necessarily expensive because I only have so many hours in the day. 2, I don't want anyone that doesn't have the intention of implementing, executing, and following through. The last thing I want is your money and you get no results because you didn't do what I told you to do.
Absolutely. Levi
and Travis and Jackson and Jesse, they, it's more of an automated group system where they, if you give them 5 or 10 grand, they'll take your money because you just kind of go into the swimming pool. And if you drown, you drown. If you swim, you swim. What I would rather have are people who
fewer people who are more serious.
Who are actually going to do it. I had no problems paying for this information because I knew I was going to implement. And I'm going to warn you, you could get lucky and get a client early on You probably won't. I have heard
It
of
takes
people
some
getting them
time.
in the first month. Here's what you should expect. You should expect to commit 10 to 20 hours a week, every single week for 3 months with no results.
Yep.
Then for the next 3 months, you'll start to get results. Then probably for the next 6 months, you'll be like, man, I love this. And then after a year, you'll think you're stealing money because you're like, this is too good. Why haven't I been
This is
doing
too
this
easy.
forever? Yeah. So
Yeah. So if you have that, if you are very, very serious, I put Denny's contact information in the chat for you guys. And I respect Denny very much, which is why I asked him to come on. And I know he's super busy and he's given up his time, but I do think that if somebody was very serious and they were committed to doing this, he would be a person that could help them do that. So I just wanted to let you guys know. I'll go ahead and put your contact information in the live stream because we had a bunch of people watching live stream as well today. Denny, thank you so much for your time. And I'm excited to stay connected with you. We really appreciate it. This is a hot topic and we were asked for you back after the last time. So we appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Carrie.
Good luck with unpacking.
Yeah.
See
tell me
ya.
about it.